AP Cram, the AP Human Geography Exam. Free response question 52. Educational patterns in the developing world. Educated girls and the total fertility rate. Remember that section 2 consists of free response questions. There are 3 questions that should be formatted as short essay answers, and you have 75 minutes to complete them, so allocate your time properly. The free response section is 50% of your exam score. You're required to define and explain and apply geographic concepts and also interpret geographic data. Okay? The countries in the graph illustrate an important trend in educational patterns in the developing world. As more girls become educated in a given region, how does this affect the country's total fertility rate? And for those of you who are not familiar with the technical definition of the statistic total fertility rate, I'll just briefly mention it to you while you're formulating your answer. For the AP level, you don't need to necessarily know how to calculate the statistic, but it is helpful just to be familiar with the definition. But if you're using this flashcard for review for like med school, or if you're in a public health program and you're an epidemiologist, you might want to know how to calculate this or at least what it represents, because you can find these statistics in a lot of online resources such as the CIA World Factbook and other demographic data banks. So basically, the total fertility rate of a given population is the average number of children that would be born to a woman over her lifetime if she were to experience the exact current age-specific fertility rate throughout her lifetime. And secondly, if she were to survive from birth through the end of her reproductive life. So I think that's like from menarche, the first period where a woman is able to give birth, up until menopause when that ability stops. And whoever comes up with the annual age specific fertility rates, I don't know who comes up with that, but somebody does. Not even exactly sure what it is. But I know that the total fertility rate for a given year is found by summing up the ASFRs, or the age specific fertility rates for that woman. And it's by region, so you would have to know where that woman is located as well. Okay? So take a brief moment to finalize your answers and write it out if you're practicing for the AP Human Geography exam. The total fertility rate is expected to drop as women in developing nations become more educated. This might be a little faint, this legend, but it's basically saying that this map depicts the projected total fertility rates for the 5-year period between 2015 to 2020. And again, total fertility is referred to as children per woman, okay, per woman, singular. And we can see, like, in the developed nations, like, this is where I am in the US, people are having, I don't know, something in this blue region from 2 to less than 1.5 kids. Well, the really dark blue, which would be like over here, people have less than 1.5 kids. But yeah, for most of the developed regions, they're having between 2 and 1.5. I'm not sure how you can have 1.5 human beings, but it's just a measure not to be taken literally. And in less developed or developing countries, you know, you have the light blue, regions, so that they're going to be having anywhere between 3 to 2.5 kids. Again, I don't know how you have a 0.5 or a 50% of a human being. And then in maybe what would be called underdeveloped nations or early developing, again, I don't create these labels. Demographic authorities do, and they might want to reconsider how they refer to some nations, because a nation doesn't have to necessarily be industrialized to be, progressive. My family comes from an island over here, and they have high educational attainment. Although at the time that they migrated to the US, their nation was considered maybe underdeveloped. They come from Jamaica. So, yeah, the mentality doesn't have to be underdeveloped. And the economy doesn't necessarily have to be industrialized. Sometimes an agricultural society is a good thing, okay? Depending on who you ask. So it's all a matter of opinion and I guess statistics and whatever markers you're trying to measure. And then we see over here people who are really fruitful. They're having, I don't know, anywhere between 7 to maybe 8 or 7.5 kids. That's a lot of kids. All right. Here too, like they're popping out a lot of people. They're having anywhere between 6 to 6.5 kids.